And here we go.
I can't believe it. Can you? We're in our 10th year. That's right, folks. Years and years of shouting from the rooftops, get prepared. And I couldn't have done it without you. You, the loyal audience, the loyal Prepared Mind Network. So get ready. Hunker down. Buckle up and get ready for 10 more years of SHTF. Oh, it's not going to be a party, folks, but we need to get ready. And here we go. Let's dive in.
I talked to a student recently at one of our woke college campuses who said she's required in every class to introduce herself and to give her pronouns. Well, I'm Ted Cruz, and my pronoun is kiss my ass.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Yeah, we're in our 10th year. Let's get that straight, John. Do some math, dude. I'll give you some fucking math. Let's see. Russia plus U.S. Patriot missiles on their border equals WW3. Yeah. Russia is warning folks of an unpredictable consequence if those Patriot missiles find their way into Ukraine. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. We're going to do our 30-minute monologue, followed by your 30-minute Q&A, question and answer. You can make, let's see, question, statement, prediction, a quotation, some history, whatever you want to talk about. If you're a member of the preparedmind.club, if you're a member of subscribestar.com, you can be live every single day, and it only costs $2 a month. Enough of the commercial bullshit. Let's get back into this Russia thing. So in Washington, D.C., shithole extraordinaire, the Russian embassy issued a warning directed directly to the direct ding-dongs of D.C., saying that the conflict between Ukraine and Russia could enter an unpredictable spiral if Patriot defense systems are supplied. President Biden, jackass in chief, is said to be finalizing plans, right, that would introduce the Patriot missile system into Ukraine. Those are also the longest range missiles that they would have. Now, they're supposed to be Patriot defense. Could those missiles be made into an offensive weapon? Now, I don't know, but the Russian embassy had more to their statement. Quote, if this is confirmed, we will witness yet another provocative step by the scumbag Biden administration, which can lead to unpredictable consequences. Folks, we have witnessed since 2014 United States covert involvement in Ukraine, in the takeover of the government by the Zelensky regime. We have witnessed, folks, the provocations against Russia the entire time, the escalations, and now the proxy involvement of the United States along with NATO, European Union, and British, well, shall we say, secret agencies, military, police, and also, that's right, economic involvement and sanctions. There's this entire thing, the entire episode with Russia and Ukraine makes me ask questions. The questions are begging to be asked. Why? Why do it? To what end? Right? Who benefits? How does this help anybody? Anyone, right? Bueller. How does this help? The only thing I can see is it creates a war to hide systemic failure of Western, shall we say, globalist systems. And it's also helping bring about the Great Reset. as these systems have been converted to globalism and begin to fail, the globalists are ready to introduce their next system. That's all I can come up with. Hey, this is your show. You can ask questions. What do you think this is about? Now, even on YouTube, you can put your comments down below. And on YouTube, you guys can have a semi-peaceful discussion over there in the weekly daily zoo, unlike the Sunday Night Live zoo, where we maintain a little bit of a stricter control over the mouthiness of the trolls. But, here on the preparedmind.club and Subscribestar, we can just get right into it right now. Give me your questions now, and we'll talk about it live. So, let us continue down into the what the fuck World War III rabbit hole. A close associate of Sam Bankman-Fried. That's right, the CEO millennial jackass who has squandered, stolen, misappropriated, commingled, violated SEC rules, campaign, election, finance rules, and everything else, right? Close associate of his tipped him off down to the Bahamian authorities, and he was arrested, right? Now, this asshole Bankman-Fried is deep fried by the deep state. He got used, and I believe he is to be the patsy to be blamed for, $100 billion lost? Unbelievable, folks. Now, this gets better. This gets even better. Biden, jackass, let's go Joe, Gigi Biden has pledged $350 billion to Africa. Folks, get this. Africa is not a country. Africa is a continent. He's pledging $350 billion to a landmass. How the fuck does that work? Right? Right. There's countries there that are not friendly to the United States, and plenty of them. The United States of America is not loved in all of Africa. So this is incredible. And I had written up a bunch of really smart-ass comments about this. So somehow this got erased. So I'm going to just bring it to you live, improvisationally. Before the ink is dry on the prosecutorial charges against Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX, who took in investment money for crypto exchanges, turned around and sent that overseas into Ukraine, ran it around in circles, trying to hide it, launder those dollars, and sent a lot of it back to the United States in the form of, crypto donations to Democrats and some rhinos. A rhino is similar to a Mitt Romney, worthless POS in the GOP. So, continuing, before the ink even dries on what's happening with Sam Bankman-Fried, who has been turned over, turned in, and rolled on, who is now being held in a nice little jail cell where he's very upset because he's a depressed vegan. Fuck you, Bankman-Fried. You were used, you little turd. And the media hasn't covered it for shit. They're just pretending that this didn't happen. Before the ink dries, before the handcuffs cool off after they're taken off of Friedman's arms, before the mainstream media is even done ignoring the story, they've already set up the next money laundering scheme, the next Ukraine laundering system. We can't use Ukraine anymore because, there's a war over there and we've been exposed, and Hunter Biden's an idiot, and now FTX has been caught. Unfucking believable. So, let's just start giving $350 billion to Africa and see how much. Where's that going to go? Who is in charge of that? Who is going to hold them accountable? Who? How does this how the fuck does President Gigi Biden get control over that much money that he can just give it away? What about all of the patriots who are veterans and hardworking Americans? How about our own homeless? How about taxpayers getting a fucking refund on what they pay in taxes? No. Let's give the power over the purse strings to the president to just give money away. $1/3 trillion, folks. $1/3 trillion, just like that. Well, the ice cream cone, little boys and girls, and money to Africa. There you fucking go. Unbelievable. The fight is on, folks. What the fuck? Seriously. I mean, who is stopping the news from getting out? Well, we're getting more information on the Twitter crap. That's right. The government was involved in the single largest censorship silencing of American voices ever. And where's the media? The media has spent combined a total of 14 minutes, I believe is the news story. 14 minutes between ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN. 14 minutes talking about what is going on with Twitter. Between all of them, and they're all 24/7 news cycles, folks. 14 fucking minutes. Silencing America. And who's doing it? Well, Yoel Roth, a Twitter big shot. Well, get this, folks, right? He had a secret account on Twitter. The former head of Twitter integrity was posting photos of his gay hookups. Isn't that just cute? It's a big gotcha moment, folks. These freaks demanded acceptance. Then these freaks got promoted into positions of authority because of sympathy. Oh, we need to let them in, and we need to be diverse. And ESG, environmental social governance, requires we have to have so many freaks in the boardroom. And then when they get into the boardroom, they become CEOs and CFOs because they turn around to everyone and go, what are you, homophobe? What are you, homophobe? You a freakophobe? I'm like, no, you go ahead and be the boss. They do that, and then they destroy normality. They destroy morality. They destroy our traditions and customs and demand silence by controlling all of the media. These folks are freaks and disgusting perverts, folks. Unbelievable, right? This is Yoel Roth. Guess who he is? Guess what he is? You don't have to guess anymore. They've shown us, right? How about CNN? Let's see. They had the Cuomos. They had a bunch of other people who have had to resign, retire, pay out lawsuits, hide. Some go to jail for all of their shenanigans and freaky, disgusting, immoral behavior. Unfucking believable what the media has become and who is controlling it. They're controlled by the globalists. Don't kid yourself. But they have freaks in the positions of power. And they've got no problem destroying our world, folks, our United States of America, and replacing it with what they want it to become. Because they are freaks. They hate themselves. And so they hate America because it is moral and decent down deep, folks. You and I are the mass majority. Normal Americans, heterosexual Americans are normal. If you're not normal, folks, you're abnormal. Abnormal. I'm not saying you should be thrown in prison if you're abnormal. I'm just saying you're not normal. And so they make the word normal a negative pejorative term. Oh, you normies. Sorry, fuck you. Normal is normal. You're abnormal. You're subnormal. Unbelievable, folks. But these freaks demand acceptance, and here we are. I mean, shit. Let's continue. Let's continue. In Florida, the state is trying to stop crime. Folks, crime is crime, right? Nearly 24 different organizations have been subpoenaed because they're pushing hormones and transgender surgeries on children. And that in Florida, my friends, is a crime. And it should be a crime everywhere. And I don't know why it's not, except these abnormal freaks have put themselves in positions of power by forcing us to allow them to say, I'm coming out of the closet and I'm normal. And then we want to have, we want you to accept us. And then you have to let us into your lives. And then you have to let us into the boardrooms of your corporations, your finance corporations, your mass communications. And then you have to let them run it. And then they get to tell us what should and shouldn't be censored, what is and is not information that's worthy, and what should and who should be silenced. And the government, the United States government, has now been caught. Pieces of shit have now been caught. They had backdoor entry into YouTube, Twitter, and probably, as far as I know, Google, YouTube, Instagram, and every other social media like Facebook, right? So that they can privately choose and silence their opposition, so that we can't say, no. Hormones and transgender surgeries is wrong for children. You guys are freaks. It should be criminalized. I don't know why it's not. Now, speaking of Florida, speaking of Governor DeSantis, right? God bless Florida. God bless people like DeSantis who have backbone to do something. And for those who want to criticize someone like Governor Abbott or Governor DeSantis, nobody's perfect, but at the same time, who else is doing anything, right? They know that in Arizona, Kari Lake would be, symbolically lynching the left agenda. Not people. We can't lynch people, but they would lynch the agenda of the left. Kari Lake is way hardcore America first, and they couldn't have that. So, yeah, they played a game of Nintendo over there and cheated. Enough on that. Let's get back to DeSantis in Florida, who said, hey, you know what? I think we need to have a little talk with Fauci. Well, Dr. Doom, little ding-dong Fauci, responded to DeSantis's call for an investigation into the Jim Jones juice. Now, I want you to understand, folks, don't let this little bastard fool you. Don't let him fool you. Be very, very careful with Dr. Fauci's words. He is a crafty liar. Make no mistakes with this snake in the grass lying piece of shit, right?
With COVID, I mean, the things that we thought we knew in the beginning turned out as the months went by to not be the case, which really forced us to adapt and to change some of our policies and recommendations. That was interpreted by many as flip-flopping or not really knowing what's going on, when it really was the evolution of the science.
Fuck you, Dr. Fauci.
The best.
That's right. Fuck you, Dr. Fauci. I'm tired of cutting these people some slack. I'm tired of them going, what the fuck? We're going to just stomp on people's rights. I'm tired of them expecting us to back down. And we should be polite. We should kiss their ass. We should give them a break. Bullshit, folks. Get in their faces. Be nice and polite, but get in their faces and ask and demand questions. This is a lying snake in the grass. So Florida says, Fauci, we need to investigate you and these damn vaccines. So Fauci goes on mainstream media, who give him more attention in one day than all mainstream media has given attention, right, to Twitter. So here comes the little shit stain. And he says, so what's the problem with vaccines? I mean, vaccines are life-saving. Right? That's what Fauci said. Right? So quite frankly, I'm not sure what they're trying to do down there. Well, quite frankly, the Jim Jones juice is not a VAXXX. It's not. It's gene therapy, folks. See, we need to understand how these people lie. Vaccines are life-saving, people, if it's a vaccine. The Jim Jones juice is not approved for usage normally, and it's not effective, and it's not a vaccine. It's the Jim Jones juice. Vaccines save lives, yes. The Jim Jones juice doesn't, and it is no vaccine. The stats prove it. The statistics prove it. The doctors prove it. The patient, everyone knows. But this little fuck gets to go on TV and go with his schmaltzy little voice. So what's the problem with the vaccines? I mean, vaccines are life-saving. Yeah, we know. You see how they use and change the words around? He points to vaccines while everyone thinks he might be talking or is talking about the Jim Jones juice. Folks, these people are evil and they need to be exposed. They do. They need to be exposed. Now, Paul Pelosi, speaking of needing to be exposed, but we don't really want to see it. Just expose the facts about what happened. His attacker, right? The nudist fruitcake from Berkeley. Wow. His son, get this. His son comes forward and adds to the speculation that his old man is some sort of sex slave. What the hell is going on? Right? They released what everyone wanted to hear. What everyone wanted to hear and had been told, that's what they released in court. But they're going to really hide everything else. Now, David DePape, his son, said his father is not evil and is hardly a right-wing conservative. We know that, right? But he implied, right, that David DePape, the hammer man, was over at the Pelosi's to do more than break into the back door of the house. He was probably going to break into the back door of Pelosi himself. Yeah, it's unbelievable. How can I don't know if David DePape is evil, but he certainly isn't going to win any awards in my world. But yeah, this is just getting crazy. And folks, when these people get exposed, evil retaliates. They don't like being exposed. They didn't like being exposed in Ukraine. They didn't like that Putin called them a bunch of Nazis. And he pointed to the Nazi brigades of Ukraine, the Nazi Ukraine army that keeps and holds and flies the flag. I don't know how to put it. They are Nazis. They have the SS, the swastika, and other Nazi symbology in their military in Ukraine. And so Putin pointed that out, and the mainstream media is like, we ain't saying shit about that. They asked Zelensky about the atrocities committed by his military against Russians who were living in Ukraine. And he just says, well, it is what it is, and dismisses it. Nazis committing atrocities. And now, yeah, he's going after the church. He's confiscating people's wealth. He's not allowing free speech. He's arresting members of anyone who opposes him politically. Sounds a lot like Hitler, and Hitler. He sounds so much like Hitler that Time went, this guy sounds so much like Hitler. We ought to name him the Man of the Year, just like we did Hitler in 1938. And folks, Zelensky and Ukraine aren't the only place that are full of these left-wing, socialist-type scumbag. Right now, in Turkey, Erdogan's rival, right, someone who was criticizing Erdogan, he was given 3 years in prison because he insulted somebody. I think it is my prerogative as a free human being to insult who I want. If I were to call Joe Biden an asshole or a jackass, I think I could make a pretty good argument and prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. But even without proof, I could just say, you know what? He's a jackass. And someone would say, you just insulted the president of the United States. So what? I think he's earned it. And it doesn't matter anyway. I have free speech. But in Turkey and many other countries like Ukraine, you insult an election authority, you go to prison. 3 fucking years for insulting someone. I guess I won't be traveling to Turkey anytime soon. Would mind some Christmas turkey because I like turkey, but I certainly won't be going. These people, folks, unbelievable. Now, I spoke about the trans activist that went to Congress, and Republican Representative Mace, right, just made her look like an idiot. Well, her, him, whatever the fuck it is, right? They call themselves trans, and we don't know which way they're transing to. Are you a chick who's looking more like a guy or a guy who's looking more like a girl? But we can't tell either, right? Is that a prosthetic Adam's apple? Are you wearing a couple of tennis balls in your pants to make it look like you got something? You freaks. So, enjoy your satire, babe. So, in response to being made to look like the fools that they actually are for being a bunch of hypocritical liars, encouraging violence while claiming that it's evil Republicans that are causing violence, right? Right. This little dipshit, after humiliating themselves and allowing Representative Nancy Mace to do a great job of pointing out the humiliating circumstances under which these idiots appeared, they blocked her. They blocked Representative Mace from its Twitter account. Right. Following this session of lambasting these morons, they got blocked. And then, right, Representative Mace wrote, "If you're going to be a hypocrite who advocates for violence online, you probably shouldn't do it testifying in my committee." And then she said this. This is what Representative Mace says. "I look forward probably to a Republican Congress. I look forward to inviting more people who actually know what they're talking about to our witness panels in the 118th Congress. Thank you." Yeah, folks. Now, after embarrassing themselves and one another, I'm sure all of the trannies got into a snuggle train and ran to their safe spaces, hugged their tranny teddy bears, cried amongst themselves, and are calling their leaders to help them after looking so fucking stupid in front of the world. Oh, accept us. Allow us to be out in the open. We just want to be treated like normal people. You're not normal. And you're certainly showing us that you don't want to be treated like a normal person. You will do anything you can to get attention. Tattoo your faces, pierce your faces, do you color your hair ridiculous. They do everything they can. They're screaming and begging for attention. I'm a moose, right? Having fucking prosthetic antlers and horns and stuff screwed into their head. They're begging for attention. I'm a boy and a girl at the same time. What do you think of that trick? That's the next one. We want to be hermaphrodites and be everything all at once. Sorry. I'm just sorry, folks. I really am sorry about all these freaks, right? And Zelensky is one too, folks. He is a freak. A skinny jeans, light in the loafers freak who is a musician and a comedian and an entertainer and someone's party favor. Oh, also Times Person of the Year. Well, Hitler Jr., a.k.a. Zelensky, just shut down a court, a government operation that investigates corruption. Why would Zelensky want corruption to not be investigated? Could it be that he himself is indeed a little piece of shit corrupt person? Yeah, of course. The president of Ukraine is corrupt, and he pulled a fast one. He did what the president of Peru tried doing, and that is, that guy's like, okay, that's it. There's no more Congress. All right. Then they impeached him and threw his ass in prison in Peru. Well, Zelensky says, hey, there'll be no more investigating corruption, and he shuts down the court. That is exactly what dictators do. It's exactly what Hitler did. He got rid of all opposition, and anyone that would oppose him, could embarrass him, could expose them. Because once they're exposed, or before they're exposed, they will lie, cheat, steal, and murder. Folks, do you have any doubt about what the fuck is going on? Do you have any doubt that we're in World War III and SHTF? Do you doubt what has come? Right? Unbelievable, folks. The Washington Post is laying off a shit pile of people. And folks, it is real. You get woke, you go broke. No one gives a fuck, a flying fuck at a rolling donut over the Washington Post. Pardon my French for using the words Washington Post. I know it's rather offensive to say Washington Post. But they had a staff meeting and someone filmed it. Someone got it filmed on video. And they released it. Beautiful work, folks. And now I'm going to quote Zero Hedge, who covered this. After losing more than 500,000 subscribers in the past 2 years, did the far left writers and employees at the Washington Post really think they would avoid any consequences? A recent hidden camera video has surfaced of the latest Washington Post employee town hall meeting in which the CEO, Frederick Ryan, delivers the bad news that the company will be executing worker layoffs after subscription revenues plummeted. Not surprisingly, the employees, presumably mostly journalists and other types, erupted into a mass chatter of squawking chickens demanding answers as well as job guarantees. Right? Can you imagine it? Don't fire me! Don't fire me! I'm too precious and I'm too fragile and too woke. And my job is too important. Boo-hoo-hoo, you can't fire me. Life isn't fair. Wah! They try and destroy America. And they've done a hell of a job at it. They don't like you. In fact, they fucking hate you. They hate our country. They hate us. They hate our culture, our traditions, our belief systems, our laws. They hate our history. They hate the military. They hate your children. They hate everything. And they've done all they can to destroy it. And they've been very successful. And now they're starting to pay for it. It's fucking yo-yos, folks. Get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Don't believe it, folks. Don't buy what these fuckers are selling. Be prepared.
Are you ready?
Alrighty then. I hope you've gotten your questions into Jolene. I know we've got some. Let's get started. Jolene, who do we want to throw up next? It's Eli in the Wolverine State. He said, a gift that Poland's top police commander received during a recent visit to Ukraine exploded at National Police headquarters in Warsaw, resulting in minor injuries. A gift. Someone gave Poland's top police commander a bomb as a gift. I grew up, folks, with Polish jokes. They were called, and forgive the pejorative, Polak jokes. Some members of my family claimed they were Polish. I think they used that as an excuse to excuse away their ridiculous notions, beliefs, and decisions. Still, what kind of dunderhead, right, accepts anything from Ukraine? I mean, for all they know, it could have been like, it doesn't. I won't even go there. Poland, folks, wants to be the biggest, baddest military in Europe. They want to be the big dogs now. They want to outgun Turkey. I mean, I get it. You want to protect your country from surrounding nations who are unfriendly. But who has been hurting Poland the most? Has Russia been hurting Poland? Or has the European Union and European Parliament system been hurting Poland with its immigration bullshit, inviting in millions of people that hate Poland and hate the Polish people, who never, ever will eat Polska kielbasa because it contains pork products. Yeah, it's more than just about sausage, folks. Poland, it's what's for dinner. Poland is fucked up. And they want to blame Russia, and they want to be the biggest military. They need to look to Brussels and Washington, D.C. to see who is destroying their country and who is the biggest threat. Right? Biggest threat. In my life, right, what is the biggest worry I have? Is the biggest worry I have out there? No. The biggest worry I have is my health, what's inside, right? From within, right? You can be attacked and not even know it. That's why I think the Jim Jones juice, by the way, has been a way to, well, not so quietly, but subvert our health and make us all subject to death from within. I'll pass, folks. When my health goes down, I feel like shit. I'm like, you know what? I just want to be healthy again. I want to feel good. You know, they take your health with the Jim Jones juice, folks. You just feel like shit if you can't get over its effects. How many people right now are silently suffering? Ask yourself that question. How many people out there have got the Jim Jones juice, not once, but twice, got the boosters, continue to get the boosters, and they just don't feel good? I bet the number's a lot higher than you would dare to ask, dare to guess. I bet the people that took that shit go, yeah, I don't feel good, but I ain't saying shit to no one. Can't catch my breath, don't have any energy, feel like shit, forgetting stuff, brain feels weak and cloudy. You bet. You bet. All right, folks, let's move on. Jolene, who do we want to put up on next? Get your questions, comments in. And we got Charlanator. And she says, hubby, meaning her husband, has learned a hard lesson in being prepared today. He's in Wisconsin, taking care of his mom with dementia, which I'm sorry to hear that she has dementia. And their power went out up in Wisconsin with the snowstorm that went through last night. Mother-in-law has a detached garage. The passage door is blocked inside with junk. Power is out, so the garage door won't work to get his car. That sounds like he is just beginning to understand being prepared. I don't know much about Charlanator's position or her husband or anything like that. But, folks, we've talked about turn off your power. Turn it off for the weekend. Right? See how you do with, well, food. See how you do with water. Turn off the water to your house. Turn it off under the sinks. Right? Turn it off at the toilet and then start thinking about, well, where do I go and where do I get something to drink? Good exercise. Good practice. Now, today I found out in the town in which I left in California that, a friend of mine was driving down the road and said, it's 7 degrees out. Drove further into a little valley. It's 6 degrees. It's 5 degrees, folks. That's 0.5 on the Fahrenheit scale, not Celsius, Fahrenheit. Fucking cold. Yeah, cold will kill you. You need to be prepared. And the people of Europe right now, they're not doing so well. They're not liking it so much because, well, Poland, along with the rest of the European Union and England and the United States government, the U.S. government, not we the people, but the government, have decided they want to fight a war with Russia over Ukraine, which, folks, the United States and the CIA, they stole that country fair and square back in 2014. Because of that war, Europeans right now, including Ukrainians, including ethnic Russians, including ethnic Poles and ethnic Czechs and ethnic everybody's, everyone wants to be ethnic now and be special. Well, you can all specially freeze your asses off because they don't have the natural gas, the liquid gas, petroleum, the diesel fuel, the coal, or any of the other energy sources that they really, truly need and the quantities they need because their leadership, their political leaders decided to start a pissing match with their energy producer. It's tantamount to going to your boss who provides you a paycheck in exchange for the work you do and saying, hey, boss, fuck you. I ain't doing any work. And your boss is like, why are you saying that to me? I'm the one that writes your paycheck and gives you the work that makes you get paid, right? We have an exchange back and forth. You provide one thing and I pay you for it. But you want to curse me? Well, perhaps I just will find someone else to do the work. The same way Russia's like, well, if Europe, you don't want to buy my oil, then I'll sell it to China or India or some other country. Brazil, South Africa, to name a few. Sell it to Saudi Arabia even. That's right, an oil producing company, a country that's like, yeah, we'll buy your oil. What a world, folks. What a world. I tell you, what a world. Well, you know, you've heard the song, right? Still the Same by Bob Seger, right? This is not, the more things change, the more they stay the same. White House continues to play the same game. And little dipshit, Karine Jean-Pierre, she came out and says, well, I cannot speak to this, which is one of her favorite sayings. It's still the same, folks. Biden is not going to return donations. No, wait. He's not saying if he's going to return donations from FTX's money laundering system. You want corruption? Well, you know, see, in Ukraine, they have to fire, get rid of, terminate their corruption investigation system. In America, they don't want to shut it down. They would just want to tell it, look, your job is to find corruption. You do not look at the White House and take any looks there. Nope. You don't look at Congress. You don't look at anyone but Republicans, damn it. And there you have it, folks. There you have it. Now, the reason Rhino Republicans are so hated is because they have partaken of the corrupt money. They get a little teeny bit and they're like, yay, I got a little piece of the corruption too. And now they're owned. And they won't call for an investigation into the donations from FTX and which politicians they went to. Remember, folks, how we heard about blockchain technology? Every transaction is recorded so that you know that the cryptocurrency you have is yours. And everywhere it goes, it can be tracked. So no more lying, cheating, stealing, whatever. Folks, these cryptocurrencies, they basically got a receipt on them, where the money came from. So I bet that any money that went to Biden, you could trace those crypto donations back and find out who owned them before FTX and who owned them, right, in real life. That could be your dollars in Biden's bank account because he got those little crypto dollars and then sold them into cash. I'm sure of it. Well, the White House won't say if they're going to return the donations or not. That means no, because I'll bet you if he said, you know what, I'm not going to keep these corrupt, money laundered, stolen donations from FTX. That is what any decent, moral human being would do. That shit's stolen. I don't want to keep. I mean, these are the President of the United States should be setting an example for the whole world. We don't allow corruption. He won't even say the fucking words. Right? I mean, he should say the words. I'm going to give that money back. Now, whether or not he does, we'll never find out because, well, our corruption investigators in the U.S. work for the fucking clown. They love the Democrats, so they're going to allow this shit. But he won't even say the words. I'm giving that money back. I'm returning it. I'm restoring it. We'll find out where those crypto bucks came from and give them back to who they came from. And we'll skip the whole FTX route. Unbelievable, folks. Unfucking believable. These people are dirty. Fucking dirty all the way down the line. Jolene, who do we want to talk to next? We've got David. And he says the government is cracking down on Bitcoin. Are they clearing the way for FedCoin? And FedCoin, folks, is the name we've given the Federal Reserve's central bank digital currency. That's right, the FBDC, Federal Bank, cryptocurrency, central bank, right? CBDC, Federal Bank, FDBC. They're gonna create their own to replace the dollar. They want to get rid of dollars and put us onto an electronic, cashless form that is no longer money or currency, but is rather a token. You see the difference? Now, if you go to Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Parlor and you put $1 in the machine, it spits out 4 Chuck E. tokens. And those tokens have a big fat rat on them, and then use those tokens to go play their games. But it's no longer currency. It's no longer money. It's no longer forced to be accepted in payment of all debts, both public and private. It's no longer current. Now those tokens are owned by whoever creates those tokens, and they have to be spent in such a manner as those tokens were designed to be spent. In Chuck E. Cheese, you go play video games. In America, those tokens are being created. They're calling it crypto, the central bank digital currency, and they want you to use their tokens that can or may not be accepted, exchanged. You may not be allowed to accept them or exchange them for goods and services. In other words, they control their money. It's now their money 100%. It is no longer currency. They are tokens, mere tokens. And what's a token worth? Fucking Chuck E. Cheese, plastic banana, good time, rock and roll rat money is only good to play their games. The rest of the world wouldn't take that shit. Why should they? It's just a fucking token. Right now, if the token was made out of gold or silver, that'd be something different. But they're not made out of gold. Neither are they made of silver. And they are absolutely worthless unless someone else is willing to accept them in payment in exchange for something else. Now, here's my deal. And listen to this very carefully. The government of the United States, the government at every state level, at the county level, at the city level, they love to tax sales tax. How do you tax a token? If I have a token, one token, and you say I have a loaf of bread, and we're going to exchange, I think this token is worth your loaf of bread, and you think your loaf of bread is worth my token. You exchange them. There's no profit there. There's nothing there. It's an exchange. There is no money, therefore there is no taxable event. Well, I'm sure the government will change the wording and pass a law and make sure that all those who use the token, the central bank digital currency, the Fed coin, agree that they'll treat it as if it was money for the purpose of taxation. So the government can get their hands on your tokens. So not only have they now stolen our gold and silver as money, and they created a fiat dollar as currency, and then they've stolen those for the last 50 odd years, and they've ruined that system. And now they're going to create a token central bank digital currency that we call the Fed coin. They're going to tell us to use those to do business, and they will collect their taxes on that, folks, and consume all they can because they are parasites, they are vampires, they are absolute scum. It's funny how I can just talk about this shit all day because I've been watching them, folks, for 30 fucking years plus. Watching how the government operates, the banks operate, the schools operate, and watching how the military operates, the legal system, how it operates, how public officials officially suck. So it's not like I have to learn all this today to bring it to you to share, right? It's not like I'm like, holy cow, right? I can't believe that. Didn't see that one coming. No, every day we can say, yeah, we saw that one coming. No shock there. Indeed, no shock there. I like this computerized zooming, right? I can go up and down. There we go. Looking real good. Thank you there, Mr. Computer. Oh, Jolene, who's next? David Hasing, he says, stack your silver, folks. All you can afford. I sure as hell am. Folks, people that are stackers, that is, people who exchange their paper fiat notes for silver and gold, they're very serious. They know that silver has value. Silver's been money for 6,000 years. Gold has been money for 6,000 years. I'm willing to bet that at Göbekli Tepe, in Turkey, by the way, in southern Turkey, a civilization that pre-existed the current paradigm of civilization by another, 5,000-6,000 years. Göbekli Tepe, twice as old as Sumeria, and we know jack shit about Sumeria, basically. I'm sure they used gold and silver as well. But it was probably so precious and valuable that they took it with them when they literally buried intentionally an entire city. Why? Lots of question marks, folks. Right? Maybe they ought to bury Washington, D.C. under, a couple 100 feet of dirt and protect the world from the filth there, the swamp. Unbelievable. It really wouldn't take that long, folks. Not with modern earth-moving machines. Right? I've seen a landfill created where they take machines and they remove soil and stack it up, and they create a mountain as they take this dirt down, and then they fill this hole with garbage, right? And then put the dirt back in layers as they go, and there's a new mountain there. A mountain of garbage. What an appropriate fucking term to describe Washington, D.C., London, Paris, Brussels, Kiev, Warsaw, Berlin. These people are absolute degenerates, folks. But hey, don't worry, they're in charge. They're in charge. So do you trust their money? Most people don't. They don't trust the government. I don't trust them farther than I can kick them, and I can't kick them very far at all. So why would I trust them with my money? Gold and silver, good idea. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. That's probably a good idea. All right, Jolene, what do we got next? And by the way, right, we have recommended and continue to recommend SD Bullion as a great company through which you can get precious metals if you are so inclined. Personally, I've spoken with Mr. Reluctant Prepper himself, Dunning and Kaiser, right? I'm just thinking about what they've done to the money. They've absolutely ruined the most perfect, honest system for maintaining control over the prices of food, the valuation of our labor, by creating a fake currency and stealing our gold and silver. They made gold and silver, the owning of it, legal. Silver was never made illegal. It just became more difficult to get. So there it is. Wealth preservation, the prepared mind. That is a great link. You can copy that, type it, whatever you need to do. That'll get you to SD Bullion, a very fair company. Miles Franklin, I'll tell you verbally, is a great company. I'm not going to say only use the one we recommend. I'll recommend them both. We have an affiliate agreement with SD Bullion, and I've had many, many friends, they like that one. Many people I know have gone to SD Bullion. Highly recommended, folks. If you have got your food, your water taken care of, your communications, right? You have the proper clothing to survive a fucking winter. You got the right medicine, right? If you have all the self-defense you need. Folks, if you don't have self-defense, how are you going to defend your home, your food, your water, your gold and silver? So it's important. Prepping is not easy to do, but it's an easy concept to grasp the need for. But there's a lot of information that you need to grasp and gather as well, so you can do it most properly. There's no perfect way to do it, but there is a way that you can do it intelligently. Okay. Thank you again, Jolene. Let us move on before we run out of time here. Charlanator checks back in and says, the money Joe is pledging is not his, but our tax dollars. That's right. $350 billion in taxes. He's going to send to this place called Africa. What's he going to do? Fly over with a C-130 and shove it out the fucking back on a pallet with a parachute? Or are they just going to open up the back of the C-130, cut the straps and the bindings, and just let the money flutter out the back into Africa? Or is it going to be donated, granted, given to a couple of countries who, quid pro quo, Let me just throw a name out here. Nigeria. Let me just throw a name out here. Sierra Leone. Throw a name out here, right? The places that are most corrupt, I bet they're going to get the most money. Or it'll be in the country next to them, and they'll just drive it across the border, right? Launder it, and then I bet in the next few years, the nations of Africa are going to donate heavily to the Democrat National Committee, the Democrat President's Fund. I'm sure Africa is going to be very pleased with all the cash they get from Biden, so they're going to want to reward Biden. Just makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Oh, by the way, folks, China is heavily involved in Africa. They own a lot of Africa now, folks, through agreements, through purchases. China is Africa, and Joe is going to send money to Africa, China. How fascinating. All right, Jolene, what do we got next? We have James Nicholson. And he says, how to beat the exchange charge for cash to silver and back. Well, okay. Silver is approximately $20 an ounce. We'll just use nice round numbers. But if you want to buy an ounce of silver, you pay $30. Well, hell, how come you have to pay that much? Well, it's called a premium. And it has to do with other people's willingness to sell you the silver, like the cost of mining the silver and getting the silver and processing it and minting it, et cetera, and distributing it and delivering it, yada, yada, yada. That all adds costs. But when you go to sell the $20 ounce of silver that cost you $30, you may only get back $25. Right? Well, how does that work? I lose $5 by protecting yourself? Well, you can say, yeah, that's the cost of protecting yourself. But the mints, the bullion distributors, etc., they have to make money. They make money doing that. The same way a store buys a $20 product, but when it gets to the shelf, it costs $30. But you're like, yeah, but when I return it, right, I get all my money back. I get a full refund. Well, when a broker buys your money or your silver from you, they're not refunding you money. They're buying it. You are acting as a free agent, and you can or cannot sell. You can choose, right? When I was buying silver, folks, years and years ago, I bought it. It was like $17 an ounce, and the premium wasn't $10. It was more like $1.50 or 75 cents. It was very small, right? And now if I were to turn around and sell that same system, well, not only has it gone from $17 to $20 more, and you get a much bigger premium when you sell it back, right? So let's just say I had those coins I bought back in 2017. Let's just say I still had them and I sold them today. It cost me $18.50. Let's just say it was a higher premium back then. So $18.50, but I'm selling it for $25. Okay, so in 5 years, the value of what I bought went up enough substantially to pay for itself and then some. Right? So in a lot of ways, it's like an investment. I've invested in me, but more probable than not, a good way to explain this, I don't know if it's probability, but is that not that the silver gained more value, but that the currency offers less value, and therefore it takes more currency to buy the same ounces of silver. So if you put money in the bank, say 5 years ago you put $20 in the bank, today it would probably only be worth $20, maybe less. If you factor in inflation, right? You get 2 or 3% interest by keeping your money in the bank, but then you lose 10 to 20% in inflation. So yeah, it's a net loser. You put $20 in the bank today in a savings account. When you take it out, it's going to have the value of $15 or $12. You're losing. Whereas with silver, you put it in and you sit on it, and 5 years later you take it out and you can buy 20, 30, 50% more. That sounds like a very good savings account where you gain value. or at least you hold value. It's a form of wealth preservation. Additionally, if you own silver or gold, if you're so fortunate and wealthy, right? If you own that stuff, I mean, here's the one that I keep near and dear to my heart all the time, right? That is 1 ounce of pure silver stamped with the Marine Corps logo. Right. The bank can't take that from me. The government can't take that for me without risking their lives. I own that, and I think that was purchased for me when silver was about $17.50 an ounce. And the premium on that was probably 50 or 75 cents because it's a round. It is not a sovereign minted coin. What's fascinating is they actually admit in the minting process how worth less their currency is. You buy a silver dollar from the US Mint, known as a silver eagle. It's worth $1. It's a silver dollar, but you're going to pay 20 bucks an ounce plus the premium. It'll take you up closer to $40, $35 to $40. How much has the value of the silver dollar dropped? By a factor of about 40. It's lost its value 40 times over, so that a $1 coin now costs you 40. You look at a gold coin, folks, the value that's stamped on a gold coin is not what it costs to buy one. I guarantee that. Wealth preservation. Prepping is about life preservation. Prepping and patriotism is about national preservation, preserving our country, which is preserving our freedom, which is preserving our rights by preserving our lives, by preserving information and passing it along and sharing, right? We're getting to World War III. How the fuck did we get there? Well, if you're not paying attention, you wouldn't understand. One day, the world's going to wake up and go, what the hell happened? World War III, bombs going off. Nate, what, huh? Money's worthless, lights out, huh? How'd that happen? You and I are going, what me worry? Right? We know all about this the entire way. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Godspeed to you. God bless America and the world. Semper Fi. I'll see you at 0 Dark 30. Hey, I'm a prepper. I'm a patriot. What me worry?